This is the Dallas Morning News.
Welcome to the DMN Morning Debrief. Everything you need to know about what's going on across North Texas. It's Monday, August 3rd. Coming up, a soldier from Carrollton killed in an Iranian attack is laid to rest. The Texas Stock Exchange reaches full trading capacity, and new moving data shows young people keep choosing DFW. But before we get to the headlines, a quick heads up on a couple of things. First, we brought production of the show in-house. As part of that, we're using some new tools, including one that's AI-powered to help with scripting. But every episode still starts with our own reporting, the stories our journalists dig up and write. AI just helps shape that reporting into this format, and our newsroom edits and reviews every episode before it airs. Same accuracy, same standards you've always counted on. If you want more detail on how we use AI, you'll find it at dallasnews.com/use of AI. Second, we're experimenting here, and I'd love your input. Tell us what you want more of, less of, whatever's on your mind. Reach us at audience@dallasnews.com. Again, that's audience@dallasnews.com. All right, let's get to today's headlines, starting with the weather. Today in DFW, expect sunny skies and a high near 100 degrees. Temperatures could climb to 103 Tuesday before hovering near 100 through Friday. No rain is expected, and increasing humidity could make it feel like 105 to 110 degrees by midweek. This weather report is compiled using information from our news partner, NBC5. Okay, in today's headlines, Army Private First Class Isabella Gonzalez was laid to rest on Sunday morning at the Dallas-Fort Worth National Cemetery. The 19-year-old soldier from Carrollton was killed last month in an Iranian attack on an air base in Jordan. Her remains were carried through the cemetery in a motorcade before mourners filled the committal shelter and stood outside. Soldiers performed a 3-volley salute, a bugler played taps, and white doves were released in remembrance and peace. The burial followed a public memorial service held Saturday evening in Plano and an honor ride benefiting Gonzalez's family on Saturday morning. She graduated from Hebron High School in 2025 and was one of 3 soldiers who died as a result of the July 17th attack. The Army posthumously promoted her from private to private first class. In business news, the Dallas-based Texas Stock Exchange has completed its full trading launch, meaning its platform can now trade all of the more than 13,000 stock symbols that trade in the U.S. TXSE held its closing bell ceremony on Friday after a phased launch began July 6. More than $700 million worth of shares were traded on the exchange Friday, and the company has raised more than $275 million to build its own trading platform. The stakes are bigger than one bell ceremony. The exchange wants to give companies another place to list shares and bring more competition to public markets, even as the New York Stock Exchange Texas and NASDAQ Texas build their own presence in the state. Next, it plans to begin listings for exchange-traded products, including funds in the third quarter, corporate listings in the fourth quarter, and initial public offerings for companies entering the market for the first time in 2027. Texas was the top destination for Gen Z movers last year, according to a new report from U-Haul that analyzed data from its customers' moves between July 2025 and June 2026. DFW ranked as the #1 metro area for millennials, the group born from 1981 through 1996, and #2 for Gen Z movers. U-Haul said Gen Z is gravitating to dense markets with colleges, entry-level jobs, and apartment access. Texas also led the nation in jobs added over the year that ended in June, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. U-Haul measured the net gain or loss of one-way transactions in each state, meaning the number of customer trips that ended there minus trips that started there. U-Haul does not collect data on why customers move, but a DFW area vice president said he often hears from people relocating for jobs, especially as corporations relocate to the region. Finally, a curious Texas reader asked why one of the fastest-growing counties in the nation doesn't have a public hospital. Nearly 1.3 million people live in Collin County, but unlike Dallas and Tarrant counties, it doesn't operate a public hospital or hospital district. Public hospitals are government-owned systems that often act as safety nets for uninsured and underinsured patients. Collin County used to own Collin Memorial Hospital, but the Commissioner's Court ordered its sale in 1982. The sale was completed in 1983, the same year voters rejected a $16 million bond election to renovate it. Today, residents rely on private hospitals, nonprofit partnerships, indigent care programs, and in some cases, public hospitals like Parkland Health. Federal law requires emergency screening and stabilization regardless of a patient's ability to pay, but Parkland officials said long-term care for uninsured patients can be more complicated. The numbers show why the question matters. Texas Health Resources reported about 143,000 uninsured Collin County residents and expects 250,000 by 2050. Parkland saw at least 9,000 unique patients from Collin County in fiscal year 2025. State law would allow an election on creating a public hospital or hospital district, but Collin County Public Health says there are no current plans to establish one. Thanks for listening. You can find more reporting and links to today's stories at dallasnews.com. This digest was partially generated by AI and then reviewed and edited by our newsroom staff. Have a great day.